Hello everybody, this is Tyler here once again from the Other Games channel, and as you guys saw last week, I did a DVD showcase of both Fury from the Deep and Revolution of the Daleks, which got released about a month ago here in North America, so I did a video about those, and I did mention briefly in the video that I said, after I see Fury from the Deep, I'll probably do a review on it, and I did have one of my viewers, was pretty interested in seeing me, review, of course, not only Fury, but also Revolution as well. So for this video, I'll be doing a review of Fury from the Deep. Now, for those of you who don't know what this particular story of Fury from the Deep is, it is as of right now, a completely missing 6-part story in Classic Who during the second Doctor era, played by Patrick Troughton. And in September of last year, they released the animation for Fury from the Deep in the UK, and we didn't get it here in North America until just last month. So, yeah, the animation of Fury from the Deep has been out for a while. It basically, they entirely animated the whole story, all 6 episodes, with, the surviving audio, because the one thing that I think every Doctor Who fan's probably thankful for is the fact that, the audio for all the missing episodes have been recorded, so at least the audio does survive, so they had that to work with, as well as, any surviving photographs and clips. So that was how the animation they did for Fury from the Deep was. And now on to the plots. Basically, the Doctor, Jamie, and Victoria land at a beach somewhere in England, and they soon discover, they were right near, I guess some sort of, I honestly don't remember, what the place was. It must have been some sort of, plant or something. And, the Doctor and his companions, all heard something weird going on in the pipes, and while they were in the middle of investigating, all 3 of them got tranquilized and knocked out and were brought into the base, and they were interrogated. And the people there initially thought that the Doctor and his companions were trying to spy on them or steal something. So they had them locked up in there, and the Doctor, of course, trying to explain to everybody that oh, I heard something weird in the pipes, and they wouldn't listen to him. And eventually, as the story progresses, we soon later find out, what's been making the noise in the pipes. It turned out to be, just a evil breed of seaweed that, takes over people's bodies and, makes them, exhale toxic gas. And that's kind of, the main plot of the story as it is. Of course, eventually the Doctor finds out, thanks to Victoria's screaming. Every time she would scream when she sees one of the seaweed people, they would often just back away or anything like that. So eventually they find out that oh, Victoria's screaming is what's making the seaweed disappear and go away. So they decided to basically record Victoria's screams and, put it on these, little sound devices to, play and, destroy the seaweed monsters. And, as soon as they did that, all the people that the seaweed, took over all got back to normal. And, of course, by the end of the story, and funny enough, this is actually a very common thing that they've brought up every now and then in the story. But Victoria, after dealing with everything that she, the Doctor, and Jamie had to deal with for the past several stories, she basically had enough, and she basically decided not to travel with the Doctor and Jamie anymore. So in the story, at the end of the story, she lives with 2 of the characters, Mr. and Mrs. Harris, and of course afterwards the Doctor and Jamie would just continuing on with their adventures afterwards. And yeah, that's basically pretty much the story, like in a nutshell. Which honestly, the story itself, I know I didn't do the best job explaining it, but the story itself is really well done. I would arguably say like Fury from the Deep is one of my top 5 favorite Troughton stories, just for the story alone. I think it's really well done. Now for the animation. This is something that, a good portion of people have, at least people that I've seen online have complained about with this story was the animation. Most particularly, some of my favorite Doctor Who YouTubers, I guess, or Who-tubers, I guess. Wingy Media and another sci-fi guy. They both were not a fan of the animation. And honestly, for me, the animation didn't bother me too much. However, I will say, out of all the animations of Doctor Who that we've had since Power of the Daleks, I would say Fury from the Deep probably has the weakest, but I wouldn't call it terrible like some people do, but I think the animation is, alright at best. I know people have pointed out, like, oh, it's kind of weird that, like, a lot of the characters had, like, really long arms, and I never noticed that, but after, like, seeing more clips, rewatching portions of the episode, I'm like, yeah, I kind of noticed that. It's a little weird. But besides that, the animation is, I think it's okay. Something I forgot to mention at the beginning of this review, there were 2 different versions of the Fury from the Deep animation they did. There was a color version, and then there was a black and white version. I personally only saw the black and white version, just, I guess be consistent with the rest of 60s Doctor Who, which, if you guys didn't know, was broadcasted in black and white back then. They didn't start broadcasting in color until 1970. So, yeah, that's what I kind of think about Fury from the Deep as a whole. The story is amazing. Animation's okay. So, yeah, I would say, if you're a fan of Doctor Who, or if you are interested in seeing this story, I would say go for it. See what you think. Story-wise and animation-wise. But I think with that being said, I think that'll be about it for this review of Fury from the Deep. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned, because I do plan on doing a review of Revolution of the Daleks. So stay tuned for that as it comes out. And yeah, this is Tyler from the Other Games channel, signing out.